One. Category closed.
Oh my God.
I turned it, right?
I guess, Jennifer. Anyway, that was Tens by Jennifer Lopez, a suggestion by Jason. Thank you, Jason, for that suggestion. Great song.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That
Hi,
was
everyone.
sarcasm, by the way. It was kind of tedious and monotonous, but all right, whatever you like. It's good for you.
It's,
Hi.
It's all about the Vogue and, ballroom.
That had
and
nothing on Vogue, but anyway. I want to say hi, everybody. Welcome to the GayXYZ show with your hosts, Jason and Donovan, and we are coming at you from Dallas, Texas. As always, it is Tuesday, November 15th, 2016, before the end of the world when Donald Trump comes in to office in a couple months. Oh, my God. But until that time, we're going to have lots of fun and be as gay as we can be because that's how we do things here. So thanks for listening to the show. If you want to call in, you can call in 214-377-0481, or you can call or you can actually Skype us at Offlimits Show. You can also tweet us at GayXYZ Show on Twitter. So what's going on with you, Jason?
Oh, sorry. First of all, I want to say sorry for the delay in the show. We had some audio issues.
That's not why we were late, but anyway.
No, I was technically, well, I had computer issues and then Donovan had audio issues. So it was really a mutual,
it was more like
problem
75-25, but anyway,
whatever. But no, I don't know. I'm just, this is going to sound very, very just, you guys are going to be completely uninterested, but you know how you have a case on your phone and as time progresses, it gets like dirty and stuff from like, your face being up on it gets oily and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I just took my cover off for the first time in maybe like 2 months.
And it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Do you have
oil?
Do you have like a regular rubber type case, or do you have like a clear case, or what kind of case do you have?
It's a hard case, but the glass, I guess the face to the phone is exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So it protects it, but I need like
a screen protector.
I need a screen protector, but those get dirty too.
Yeah, they do.
So now I'm using a safety pin to get in between the nook and cranny and everything. And like, even though I know it's my own sweat and my own dirt from my face over time and all that, like, even though it's coming from my own face, it's disgusting doing this. Like, I'm just like, this is so nasty.
But that's like anything else. I mean, like people, I mean, if you have a brush or a comb or, like if you, I don't know, have you like you're in your car, your steering wheel can get that gunk on it after time. Just dirt builds up. I mean, you have to constantly clean stuff just to keep it clean. And I'm like a clean freak, and I don't like to get, so I'm constantly like, I have wipes. You can get wipes for your phone, by the way, that's specially made to clean your phone, You know that, right? Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, but I just, I don't know.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Yeah. Well,
I'd rather.
Go ahead.
I don't know. You know what? I need to stop saying "of course" because someone's gonna get offended when I say, "Oh, of course," as if androids don't exist. But...
Well, they don't in my world, but I know a lot of people who have them. I just don't understand why, because they're not as good as an iPhone. People just want to try to be different than the masses because they think, oh, the iPhone's the most popular, so it can't be the best. But it really,
well,
is.
Android users say the same thing about iPhone users. I think iPhone users are like, what do they call it? Like sophisticated or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what that means, but
or bougie.
I guess. Bougie. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think of an iPhone. I mean, I've had an iPhone since the very first one came out. I waited in line in the rain at an AT&T store for my first iPhone in 2006, I think it was. And
please, I didn't do anything like that.
Well, I did, and it was like $600. And I got it. I remember the first like month or two I had it. People were like, "Oh my god, is that the iPhone? Oh my god, Everybody was like, "Oh my god, the iPhone." And then over time it caught on. And the reason the iPhone caught on is because it's a good product. It's intuitive for the most part, and it's gotten better over time, obviously. And
that shit's expensive though. Apple has some expensive fucking products.
It should be expensive because it's the best, and it's got to be expensive. I mean, all the phones, I mean, any smartphone is expensive, whether it's Android or an iPhone. But I mean, they're still expensive. But yeah, I mean, they are a little bit too high. I mean, like mine was like $900 this last one, and it's
and you pay full
ridiculous.
price for that shit?
No, I got it through AT&T or whatever.
Oh, I'm about to say, okay.
But you still pay full price. You can't get. You either pay the full amount right up front, $900. And when I'm saying $900, it's for like it's got 256 gig of memory and or space or whatever, and it's like the iPhone 7 Plus, and so it's got all this. That's why it's so expensive. But what I'm saying is, even if you buy it outright, I mean through AT&T or whatever, you still pay the same amount for it. It doesn't matter if you buy it through payment plan or not. Mm-hmm.
Right. You know what? I'm glad that we brought this subject up because I have a bone to pick with Apple. Now, Apple, I like y'all. Don't get me wrong. However, y'all need to stop rolling out with these new fucking products like every 2 months. I just bought a MacBook, okay, like 3 months ago. How about y'all coming out with a MacBook that has a little touchscreen thing on it now?
Yes.
I'm like, I just bought this motherfucker, and y'all gonna come out with another one already?
Well, that they did do that. If you bought a MacBook, they do this with a lot of their products. If you buy one within a month of the time that it comes out, or it's 30 days or 45 days, something like that, you can take it in there and they'll exchange it for a new one for you for free. But there's only some products that do that with. But yeah, that's the thing about technology. Technology is constantly changing. It's never going to stay the same. It's constantly evolving, getting better.
Well, how come they couldn't put that shit on the previous MacBook?
Because they weren't ready to debut it yet. It wasn't ready yet. Technology wasn't ready for them. I mean, other places already had that kind of technology. It's just Apple's always slow in terms of implementing other people's ideas. They always do their own stuff. They want to be innovators first. And so they always do that shit last.
Apple, I like y'all, but sometimes I feel like y'all are like a step behind, even though you're $1 ahead.
They are. They are sometimes.
So
sometimes they are.
It's like, because sometimes, like, because there's some people that have already come out with this. Well, not this particular situation, but there's some cell phone companies that have already, come out with, or cell phone manufacturers or whatever. They've already come out with stuff similar to this. And it's like Apple is just now coming out with this. It's like, Apple, I need y'all to get together. I like y'all. I don't want to.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm trying to explain to you that they don't like to follow. They always try to lead, and they only implement other people's technology or ideas if they think, one, that it's useful to the user and it's in their idea for what someone's going to want to use. It's useful to the person using the products. It has to be useful. Just because it's a gimmicky thing and new doesn't mean they want to add it to their products. So they're very, very, very smart and very slow about implementing things to make sure that they're actually going to be a benefit to people and not just be gimmicky and you're going to last. And for example, Apple was the one who initially got rid of the hard drive on computers, on laptops and stuff. And now people are starting to get rid of them completely on other, like Samsungs or Dell or whatever, on others because we've determined that they're really not necessary anymore. And years ago they were doing that. I mean, like 2 or 3 years ago at least, they would start doing that. And also with the iPhone, they innovated, and with Mac computers and et cetera. And so it's just like they're innovators and they don't like to follow. And that's all they're doing. They don't want to say, "Oh, I followed you." So.
Oh, so in other words, they're trying to say, "Oh, we're our own mind," and
they are for the most part, but they don't innovate as much as they used to. Before Steve Jobs died, because Steve Jobs was the heart of that company, it was constant innovation, new stuff all the time, right? But now, it's just not really anything new. It's just like upgrading what they already have,
Right. And here's another thing, Apple. I like y'all products, but can y'all please come up with a new design for the MacBook Air? Like, it's been the same design since like 2010.
Now, why do you have? I have a MacBook Pro, and I don't know. I use it. Of course, I use a lot of CAD and shit like that, and so I need it for that power or whatever. But why would you get an Air as opposed to a MacBook or a MacBook Pro? What's the difference? Just lighter, thinner?
I just like the lighter, thinner thing. I don't
It's
really
easier
think
to carry
bulky
around
and heavy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I got the MacBook Air. But it's like, can you please change the design? The MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro have pretty much had the same design since the beginning of man, it seems like.
They have not.
So it's like
MacBook Air has only been around for like 6 years. Anyway, that's not true.
Well, they said they changed design. Well, they've had the same design since they debuted it in 2010 or whatever.
They changed it once.
With what?
I thought they just changed it just now. They just changed it. They just changed it this last time.
And how long did it take? 6 years? It should have been changing out. Like, if they would do it like every 3 years, I would have been okay with
that. If it ain't broke,
6
don't
years?
fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why do you have to change something that's working? That's like saying, "Oh, I'm wearing Chanel, but I want to wear, I don't know, I don't know, polo. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to change something that's working and people love it and they're buying it? They only change it when the demand starts to plummet, probably, design-wise, I mean. Because the design isn't as important to people, unless you're a Mac user, usually it is, but as the functionality. So they just focused on functionality and improving that and let the design go by the wayside, I guess. But they do that about a lot of stuff. I mean, their Mac Pros were like that, too. For the longest time, they just changed them like 3 years ago. Now they look like trash cans. I have one, too, now. So it's sitting on my desk. Look like little tiny black trash cans. But, you know, they don't change it very often. But do you really care that much about the design? Or you just...
No, I just want something light. I mean, it's just something that I just noticed over the years because I know a lot of other computer companies they'll like slowly change the look of it or make it a little bit more. There's always like a slight change as far as like the design or whatever. But in the same thing, it's mainly the same hardware. They're just trying to give like a new, updated look. Not Apple.
Right.
They kept it the same up until now. Which I love y'all, Apple. I really do. But just it's just a personal pet peeve of mine. But anyway.
Well, I want to talk about some other stuff besides Apple tonight. I'm sure you do too.
Okay.
So, are you done with that, or you want to talk to more about it?
I'm done.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. Well, I wanted to talk about the fact that, well, first of all, what would you say if I said to you that when President Obama got into office, he actually said that he was going to do away with all of the white people. He was going to make them all immigrate out of this country, and he was going to actually align himself and his entire cabinet with the Black Panther Party and the Muslim faith, and just basically do everything that everyone always accused him of doing, but he never did. I mean, basically, if Obama had done all those things, he would probably have been assassinated. People would probably tried to kill him. And I'm sure they've already tried to kill him already, but I'm just saying they probably would have really, really tried. And people would have really fucking been so fucking pissed at Obama that they would have, put him in a fucking coup, I think. But now we're going to have Donald Trump who's doing the exact same thing, just in the reverse. And people are telling me not to get upset. Don't get upset. Why are you so mad? Why are you so upset? And I'm like, fuck you. And I literally am like, fuck you. Of course I'm fucking upset because fucking Trump is trying to take away our fucking civil rights as gay people, as women, not me, but, in general, and people of color and people who are of different faith. So don't you think that I should be upset, or are you not upset, or how do you feel about everything that's going on with that?
I was upset, but it's like, and I understand that other people are upset as well because they're protesting and everything. But my thing is that it's done. I look at it as like it's done. People's like they need to do a recount. They're not doing a fucking recount. Let's just be honest, okay? So it's like, just make the best of it. Stay on alert for everything because you never know what's going to happen, what may change. I was upset for like the first few days, but then after that, I was just like, you know what? I mean, I do commend and appreciate the people who are protesting to try to make a change.
Yeah.
But, and they're like, they want to do a recount and everything. They're not going to do a recount. They're not going to do any of that.
It's not even about that. I mean, some of them, of course, feel that way and think, oh, recount, blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. I mean, I don't really care about that because I agree it's probably a done deal with him being president, fine, whatever. I accept that he's going to be president, but what I don't accept is that people have decided to vote in a racist, homophobic, xenophobic, sexist into office, yet expect people whom that affects not to be upset. That's what I'm upset about, and that's what a lot of people mostly are upset about. That's what they're upset about generally. So I'm asking you, I guess, don't you think that is irrational to not expect people to be upset when their lives and their livelihood are going to be directly influenced by this in a negative way?
Well, no, I agree. If you're upset about something, if it's something that goes against your belief on either side, I mean, I believe that you have the right to be upset. If he's trying to take away gay marriage and, trying to, allegedly build a wall, to keep Mexicans out and other immigrants out and that type of thing, I would be upset about that too. I mean, I am upset about it actually, but it's like.
But it's like what?
I just look at it. It's like it's done. Yeah, I'm still not happy that he's going to be the president and he's going to be sworn in January. But at this point, it's like,
So you're resigned to the fact that he's going to be president, and you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to say, "Okay, well, it's done. I can't do anything about it."
I mean, what can I do about it? I mean, it's not
Really?
like
What can you do about
I
it?
could raise hell until I turned blue in the face.
Uh-huh.
No one's going to do a recount. No one is
I'm
going
not
to.
talking about him being president.
The only other thing that we could do is impeach him if he does some shit.
Well, first
That's
of
it.
all, he's probably going to be impeached. But I'm not talking about him being president. I'm talking about the things he stands for, the things he's trying to do to our country, and the civil rights he's trying to take away. You're just going to say, "Okay, oh well, that he's president. I can't do anything about it." You're not going to do anything about it. That's what pisses me off about people, because it irritates the fuck out of me, and it makes me angry that Americans whom don't agree with his policies, and I'm not saying these are policies like about, oh, we're going to raise taxes, or oh, we're going to do this or that, about things that really affect people. I'm talking about things that affect people on a daily basis in their lives, including me, someone you know, including people who are married like myself, and people in this country who actually are part of this fabric of this nation. And it's going to fucking change their lives drastically in a negative way. And you're just going to say, oh, well, I can't do anything about it. That is so irresponsible.
I mean, I didn't vote for him, so I mean,
I didn't vote for him either, but it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. And of course it affects you. I don't understand people who are so apathetic about this. How can you have so much apathy about someone who's doing this shit to people that you should care about? Your friends, your family, people that are going to really fucking suffer under this person. And that's what I think people don't get. Maybe you don't get it either. That this is not about some difference of opinion. This is about someone trying to fuck you up. Fuck up your life, take away rights that you now have, even if you may not actually enjoy them or use them, but rights that you have as a human being in this country, and as a gay person, as a black person, as a person, that's not married or whatever. I mean, all these fucking things that you have as a right that you're not going to have anymore because of fucking Trump. And you don't care about it enough to actually rise up and say...
I didn't say that I didn't care. I just said that I was...
That's the same thing. You're not going to do anything about it, right? You're not going to say anything about it.
But it's done. I mean, okay, so if he takes away gay marriage, what am I supposed to do about that?
You're supposed to fucking raise hell. You're supposed to raise hell. You're supposed to raise hell. You're supposed to use your vote in 2 years when it's time to vote for the Congress and the Senate and that kind of thing. And you're supposed to do something about it in between now and then, and actually fucking do something, like get out there and volunteer or do something. Make fucking phone calls, right? I don't know.
I said that last week when we did our show. I was like, I said there are some people who just wait for the presidential election. They don't vote for their councilmen. They don't vote for their aldermen. They don't vote for any of that stuff. They just wait for the presidential election.
But beyond that, Jason, I'm saying that you can actually... the reason I'm upset is because you're like, oh, well, that's the way you couched it, is like, oh, well, I can't do anything about it. And you can't do anything about him being president, but you can do something about keeping him...
But you also have to remember, this is just me. What about the other people? It's like, there's also... I mean, yeah, I can go out there and do what I need to do and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just one person. I mean, there's millions of Americans.
Jason,
so
that's just it. 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. That's what makes power, and that creates a movement. You can't just say, oh, I'm just one person. If everybody said that, nothing would ever fucking change. You have to say 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 person equals a million, or whatever it is. So, I mean, you have to look at it in the sense that you are part of, I don't know, I use the word resistance, but a resistance to this man's policies. I mean, to just acquiesce and say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. I mean, I'm just going to accept the fact that he's taking... What if it were... Okay, let me ask you this. And this is going to sound like hyperbole to you, but I mean this literally. What if Hitler were running for, president, and he won? You would just sit back and say, oh, well, that's what you'd say? You wouldn't do shit about it. Knowing what he's planning for the country, knowing what he's planning for Jews or whoever it might be he's against, gays, other people in this country, you would just say, oh, well. Is that what you would do?
Probably.
Okay,
I mean,
and how can you even live with yourself to say that? I mean, how else?
But listen. But when I voted, I put my vote in who I wanted to vote for. Obviously, people felt a different way because Trump's going to be president. But only thing I can do is I put my vote in. I let my voice be heard. Obviously, it wasn't loud enough. So it is what it is. Now, I'm not just because
your vote doesn't matter in this country, though. That's the thing, unless it's during the middle elections.
Just because I do not necessarily care about him does not necessarily mean that I don't care about what may or may not happen. So I don't know. I'm just exhausted with this whole Trump thing. I really am. It's done. The only other thing that can be done is impeach him. He still has to go to court for this child rape case. If he's convicted of that, then I'm almost certain he will be impeached.
No, even
But
if he got impeached, which he probably will, it's going to be even worse because then Mike Pence will be president of the United States of America, and he is even more of a homophobe and more horrible.
okay, well then the only other
people.
option to do is to assassinate them.
Well, which you're not.
I mean, that's the only other option.
Which you're not condoning or saying, but yes, of course, that's the.
I
Other
mean,
option.
I'm not. I'm just saying. You was like, what can be done? I was like, I've casted my vote. My vote obviously was not enough.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's not all that can be done, and you're saying that's all that can be done. That's not all that can be done. I just told you all these other things that can be done that you were saying that you can't do. You don't have to do anything. And look. I'm sorry. I shouldn't tell you that you have to do this, or you have to do that, because it's really your decision. It's your life, whatever. I'm just saying that you should actually. I feel that you should actually give a fuck about what happens to people outside of yourself, and just because it doesn't necessarily directly affect you, it affects a whole lot of other people in this country. And even though it actually does directly affect you, you don't seem to realize that or care enough that it does to actually do something else about it, or try or speak out about it, or actually go out and try to volunteer or whatever. Whatever the case may be, you're not like moved at all by the horrendous person that is now our president, and he is. And I never have said this before about anybody, not even about George Bush Jr., but he is in many ways like Hitler, literally, about how he rose to power and about the things he's saying to do. And he's surrounding himself by white supremacists in his cabinet, and none of this matters to you. It just makes me mad. And it's not just you. You are right now the scapegoat for every other person that pisses me off right now about this, because it's not just you. It's just people that seem to feel like
people
you.
People of color voted for him too.
Not every.
So
Look,
it's like,
no. The facts are, yes, of course, there are people in each group, minority and majority, that voted for Trump. But the overwhelming majority of minorities voted for Hillary Clinton, not for Trump. The overwhelming majority of them voted for her, not him. Yes, there is a percentage of them, but he didn't get anybody except the white, lower middle class vote. That's the biggest vote he got. It was like 70% of the people voted for him or whatever. So that is the truth.
But this is what Trump wants. I think Trump just wants to get in office just to be popular, so people can talk about him every day.
It doesn't matter what he wants.
And look what it's doing. It's working, because what are we doing? We're talking about him. So it's
of course we're going to talk about him because he's going to be the president of the United States of America, and that affects not just me and you, but the whole fucking world. So yes, we're going to talk about him, and we're going to continue to talk about him because he's going to be the most powerful man in the world. So, and if you think that a man like Donald Trump being the most powerful man in the world is not a problem, then you have a problem, in my opinion. So, whatever. Now, let's talk about Wanda Sykes and how she handled this kind of issue. And she feels pretty much passionately the way I feel about this. And I understand how she feels. And it's a 1 minute long clip. We'll play it from where she was heckled when she called Donald Trump a racist and all these other things she said about him in her act. Let's listen to that real quick.
The election, I was going around consoling people. I said, guys, look on the bright side. Look at this. I was telling everybody, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I was like, I am certain this is not the first time we've elected a racist, sexist, homophobic president. He ain't the first one. He's just the first confirmed one. That's it. Wow. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Fuck all y'all. Fuck all of y'all.
That's right.
Fuck you.
Yes.
You. All of y'all.
Take none of that shit.
How can you? The evidence is there.
Fuck them.
The evidence is there. How can you say he's not racist? How can you grab him by the pussy? How can you say he's not sexist? How can you say he's not racist? How can you say he's not homophobic?
So she got booed because of what she said, and then she, of course, at the end, people were applauding for her on the other side of the venue. But you agree, though, that he is a racist and all that stuff, right? Or do you disagree with that?
I agree. I mean, okay, let me say this. Prior to him running for president, I really have never heard of him making any racist comments. Now, with him prior to being president or running to become president. Along his campaign line, yes, he said plenty of things that was racist. A lot of that, almost all of it, I do not agree with.
Yeah.
But I see, because here's the way I think. I feel like he says these things to be noticed. Do I know if he's a racist for sure? I don't know. I've never met the man. I would hope not. I would. Maybe he's just saying these things to be noticed and be like, because it could be just for shock value. Be like, oh my God, he said he wants to build a wall to keep Mexicans out. Oh my God, he wants to do this. He wants to do this. He wants to do that.
But Jason, this is what. Oh. I'm trying to be calm because I know it's not your fault.
But you're asking me for my opinion. I don't know if the man is.
That's
racist.
what I'm trying to. That's what I'm upset about.
Now,
is that you say you don't know that he's a racist when there's plenty of documentation that he is racist. That his father was in the KKK. That he surrounds himself by racist people, the KKK members, as well as Grand Klansmen, what the fuck they're called, neo Nazis or whatever. And he has been sued for being racist towards people who were trying to rent in his own fucking building. So yes. He is obviously a racist. It's not a question. It is a fact.
But then you have black celebrities who are friends of his and says that he's not. So it kind of leaves me confused.
Does that really mean just because somebody is friends with a racist, does that someone who's black or white or Hispanic or whatever is friends with a white racist?
Well, you've had Russell Simmons to come forward and say something about it, saying that they've been old friends for years. You've had Oprah to step forward and say something.
Does that mean Oprah defended him?
I don't believe that. It just leaves me in the middle.
Oprah did not defend him.
Saying one thing.
Oprah did not defend him.
Minorities that said that he's not. So
Oprah did not defend him. That's not true. I'm going to show me why that is if she did, because I've never seen that. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, she supported Hillary, so that makes no sense she would support him. But anyway, it is not a question.
Did she come out with a tweet saying that everyone can take a deep breath now or something like that, and everything's going to, or something like, I don't remember the tweet exactly, but she had a tweet that said something about.
It had nothing to do with her saying he was not a racist, though. She's never not said that he was not a racist. But my point is just because someone is black or Hispanic or whatever is friends with a white racist doesn't make the white racist not a racist. Just like it doesn't make people who are friends with gay people not, homophobic just because they know
what
them.
I'm saying is you're asking me if I think he's racist. Based on what he said, based on documented footage, based on what he says, yes. Do I think he's truly racist? I do not know. I feel like he might have possibly said it just to get shock value. I do not know if he's an actual racist. Now, okay, let's just take away everything else. He comes on TV and said he wants to keep immigrants out, he wants to keep Mexicans out, he wants to build a wall and do that. Based on that alone, I would say yes. Do I truly think he's racist? I do not know. I do not know the man. I can only go off of what he said on TV. So that I would have to say, based on face value, I would say yes.
So
do I think he's truly racist? I do not know.
For someone to be really, truly, as you put it, quote unquote, truly racist, they have to be wearing a sheet, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else he needs to do.
I'm not saying that.
What else does he need to do to prove it? I don't understand.
Listen, I've already said based on face value, based on what he said.
You don't have to base it on face value,
Jason. Him a racist. Yes, but I feel like there's a hidden agenda with him. I don't think
it doesn't matter.
I feel like he's doing it just to get shock value. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but even if that's true, even if he were doing all this just for shock value, which I don't believe that he's doing just for shock value, I believe he said things for shock value, yes, but I don't think all of these things are that way. Because just because someone wants to say something for shock value doesn't mean you have to go there to racism or whatever else to be racist. You would go another direction. But anyway, my point is that just even if it were true, he's just saying it for shock value. The point is he said all these things and he's made this choice to make these things his issues and to rouse up the most despicable, deplorable people in this nation against the other side and to essentially
but exactly
create a
that's
war.
the whole point. He wants to get people riled up. That's the whole point.
That's not my point, Jason. You're not listening. Okay, listen. I understand you're saying at face value, footage you've seen, blah, 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 blah. But you're not taking into account his past that's also completely documented as fact that I just mentioned to you earlier. Has how he was raised, how he's treated people in his own buildings, and how he has things he said beyond this before this election, and how the things he's trying to do now to people who are gay, and how all black people are in living ghettos and bullshit like that.
I didn't follow Donald Trump prior to this election because I had no interest in Donald Trump.
That's fine,
so
but I'm
I
telling
really
you
don't
that this
know
is
what he
out
said
there.
prior
I'm
to
saying,
that.
knowing that, I would think that would convince you. But whatever. Okay, whatever. He's not. He may or may not be a racist in your book. Fine, whatever. But whatever the case is, I'm just confused about why someone would even not be upset about it. But whatever. I mean, you can talk about whatever you want. But anyway, let's move on to something else now. Since you're tired of talking about Trump, so let's talk about something else. What do you want to talk about now?
I don't know. I mean, I've listened to Trump for the past 2 years. I've just the whole campaign thing for the past 2 years. I'm just exhausted. I'm just tired of talking about Trump. But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why people voted for him. And I said this last week. People voted for him not only because he added shock value to his campaign. They looked at him because they voted him in my opinion, because they did not look at him as quote unquote Washington. They looked at him as an outsider. They liked the fact that he was an outsider. They liked the fact that he is not afraid to say and he's opinionated. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. He's not afraid to expose people. That's why people voted for him. Because when they look at Hillary Clinton, they look at her as Washington. They do not look at Donald Trump as Washington. He doesn't even like anyone that's part of Washington. So I think people wanted someone who was different. They wanted someone who was not quote unquote Washington. They did not want someone who was you know, going by the book, I guess you want to put it, or something of that nature. They wanted someone who was different, who was an outsider, and it worked for him.
That's
That's
not
all
the
I'm
only.
saying.
But this is all stuff I know all this already. We know that they voted for him because he's an outsider. But that's one of the things of his part of his thing. He promised change, and he was different than Washington. Blah blah blah. All this bullshit, which is all a lie, by the way. But except the fact he's been a politician. I mean, obviously, but I mean, the rest of that's a fucking lie because everything he's doing now is proving that everything he said before is not true to them as well as to the rest of us. But anyway. Yes, of course they voted for him because of that reason. That's not the only reason they voted for him, and it's not even the biggest reason. The biggest reason is because he spoke to their racism and their homophobia and all those other horrible things that people in this country were afraid to talk about. And that's why they call themselves basically the silent majority, which is such bullshit. But anyway, the silent majority, because they now feel free and emboldened to actually talk about their racism and their homophobia and their xenophobia and all this sexism and everything else. Because their fucking president of the United States, who's the fucking leader of the free world, is saying it's okay. By his actions and by his words. So that is why they voted for him. You can put it in any way you want and say, oh, they voted for him because he's a Washington outsider. Yes, that's one of the reasons, but that is not the biggest reason. That's not the main reason. That is not a reason that moves people enough to actually say, oh, yes, I'm going to vote for him over someone who's voted her fucking entire life.
I wouldn't be surprised.
To making the world
Have you
better.
seen the people that voted for him? I would not be surprised.
The people who voted for him are what I just said they were. That's who voted for him. That's why they voted for him. Not because he's a fucking outsider. That's not the only reason. That's what I'm saying. It's not the biggest reason I'm saying. I'm saying it's one of the biggest reasons.
And they have a whore as a first lady. So there you go.
Yeah, but see, that's even wrong, I think, too, to call her a fucking whore, even though she is a whore, because I think it's sexist to say that and to take her out because she's been in porn and everything else, which is, I think, I don't even have a problem with porn or whatever, but I think for my first lady, I don't want someone who's been in porn as my first lady. That's my issue with it. It's not because I think porn is horrible or whatever. If women want to do porn, they got to get their dollar somehow when they're coming up and they're poor or whatever. Fine. I don't begrudge someone that, but I do not want my first lady to represent the United States of America whom has been in porn or an escort. I mean, that is not someone.
I feel the same way, but again, America thought differently. So,
America doesn't care because he was not. My opinion is one of the biggest reasons is because it wasn't so much about him being an outsider. It was that he was not Hillary. That was the problem. And that's why I voted. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton in the primary. I voted for Bernie Sanders. And that's one of the reasons that I feel and know almost, and actually even people have said that if Bernie Sanders had been the candidate, he would easily have beaten Trump because Bernie Sanders moved people, had a movement behind him. And she didn't really stand for anything. She just was that, oh, it's more of the same, basically. But he stood for something different, like you said a minute ago. He stood for something different, and that's what they were voting for as well, yes. And she did not offer any difference. It was the same fucking thing.
But like I said, I also blame the people who were on the day of election were still undecided, and I personally heard people say, "Well, I'm not just going to vote for. I'm not going to vote for either one because I don't like either one." That's a vote loss right there when it could have went towards one or the other.
It is.
I heard several people the week of the election say, you know what, I just made the decision I'm not going to vote because I just don't like either one. That's their decision, but I don't think it's necessarily the right decision. But and then also, or they would say something to the extent like, I'm not, I really come to the decision I'm not going to vote for him. Or in the same thing that he said about the women, he said horrible things about women. Women still want to vote for this motherfucker. So it's like, you know, th- I understand you saying that he said horrible things and people still voted for him. It worked. He said horrible things about Mexicans. Yeah, Mexicans voted for him. He said horrible things
Not the
about
majority
black
of
people
them,
living in
and
the
not
inner
the majority
city.
of them.
Well, the small percentage voted for
Yeah,
him.
but that's not
That
what won
small
him.
percentage.
That's not what won him the election, though. I mean, I understand your point. You're right, but that's not what won him the election. Were the people, the white people who were pissed about racism and were racist or whatever else I just mentioned. That's how he won.
But I also think a lot of people did that just as a quote unquote take back, as I call it, from President Obama being in office for 8 years.
Yes, it's a referendum. Exactly.
So
yes, I know that.
I think they did it just to quote unquote get back at us or
Right.
at whoever.
No, that's why Van Jones on CNN called it a white lashing, is what he called it. And it's precisely the reason he called it that was because he felt that was they felt disenfranchised even though they weren't. What's so funny to me is this: it's all these white people crying about, oh, it's our turn, because they haven't had already almost 400 years of the country to themselves, and we have one black president who's actually liberal-minded and open-minded to everyone, including gay people, and all of a sudden they feel, oh my god, I can't believe what this feels like to be a minority. Well, now they knew, and so they hated it so much. Now this is the white lashing against what happened with Obama, which was good stuff for the country. And that's the other thing, is that none of their fucking bullshit makes any sense, because Obama, this is all based on fact, not just my opinion. This is factual stuff here. Obama has done more for this fucking country than any Republican has ever done. And that's a fact. Financially, for the economy, for people, all people in this country, not just black people or Hispanics or gays, but white people, everyone in between, poor and middle class anyway. And so for them to act like he was just a horrible president is ridiculous, because the only reason they didn't like him is because he's black. And you know that, I know that, and a lot of people know that. But now they're coming out and saying these things and calling, Michelle Obama an ape in heels and things like that. I mean,
they've been saying that since the beginning of time.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this kind of stuff is how they really feel in their true nature. And so that's what Trump represents. And that's why I hate Trump. That's why I hate what he represents. That's why I hate people who are apathetic about it, because really we're not talking about just a little difference of opinion here. We're talking about our country. And if people don't realize that, then that's on them. But, when we all end up in concentration camps because you didn't do anything about it, then you guys will actually think about doing something about it. I mean, you got to do something, even if it's just fucking speak out. Even if you just fucking write an article or talk on this fucking show or call your congressman or whatever the fuck it is, do something. I don't care what it is, but make a fucking difference, people. And 1 + 1 + 1 = 1,000,000 if you just fucking try. So that's all I'm saying. Don't be apathetic about it, for God's sakes. There were actually when Trump won the election, all of these ads popped up on is it Grindr or Craigslist, and saying from gay men and talking about how sad they were and how scared they were or whatever. And one of them read, post-Trump cuddling. A man in Los Angeles wrote about, he said, quote, "I'm still reeling from this election. All I want to do is hold someone that feels the same." And then there's another one that says, feeling kind of lonely and horny and restless, and was wondering if there were any cute, mad young men out there who would like to hang out and whatever. So just all of these fucking ads about these guys trying to console themselves about Trump. And I think a lot of the country was incredibly unhappy and sad, and I know I was, and I think we have a reason to be sad and angry, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future with Trump. I just hope, for God's sakes, that it's not what he says he's going to do, because if it is, then you and I and everyone listening to the show probably will no longer have any rights. And I'm not exaggerating either. So that's what I'm afraid of, unfortunately. What else do we talk about, Jason?
I don't know. It's just been a slow news week. There hasn't been much going on. They've been posting some of the dumbest stuff online for like entertainment news, And I'm like,
What do you mean?
why? Like, for example, there was a blogger who posted like this huge one. It wasn't a huge story, but I guess to them it was a huge story, and it was like, oh, Tina Lawson, who's Beyonce's mother, was thought of the whole idea to do the mannequin challenge. I was like, why is this news?
I don't even
Why
understand what the mannequin challenge. I've seen it because I saw Hillary Clinton do it, but what the fuck is it for?
It's a challenge. That's all I know. If someone wants to call and explain it, feel free.
You just do it for no reason. You just do it because it's weird and different.
I guess it's something different. I mean, when I look at it, different mannequin challenges, I will admit that it's neat.
Yeah.
But at least people ain't setting themselves on fire doing these challenges or trying to, eat marshmallows and put as many marshmallows in their mouths as possible, or try to drink something without choking, or drinking gasoline or some shit.
Right.
But I mean, it's something that's not required. That's not gonna, result in them getting killed.
Right.
So I mean, that's a plus for me.
Right.
But I was like, why is this news? Why is this news? Why do we need to know that, oh, Tina Lawson was the reason behind the whole mannequin challenge for Beyonce and Kelly? And I'm like, I reply back, I'm like, it must be a slow news day. Then they turn around and posted something like, Kylie Jenner deleted her Instagram. I'm like, why is it? Like, everyone in the reply was like, why the fuck is this news? Why do we need to know this?
Well, I saw that on something yesterday. I don't know. I think it was Watch What Happens Live. It was just like his Jackhole of the week or something. It was her because it was like whatever, big fucking deal. But there are girls who follow her and just care so much about what she fucking does and wears and thinks and everything else, and so then their whole worlds are going to tumble.
And that is scary.
That's scary. That scares you, but not Trump. Okay, whatever. Interesting. Anyway, I think it's just girls are stupid sometimes. Young girls, I mean, are just dumb, and so are young boys.
But even when it comes to the Kardashians, Kardashians are someone that I just really don't follow. I've never had any interest in the Kardashians. It's one of those things. I've always been one of those individuals. As soon as they bring something up about, I pull something up on my phone, and Kim Kardashian did that. I swipe on. I just keep on swiping. Don't even read the story. Oh, Kendall Jenner. She swipe. Kourtney Kardashian. Swipe. Khloe swipe. I mean, Kris Jenner. Swipe. I just have no interest in that family. I mean, I know a lot of people do. Obviously, someone does because I mean, the show is on. It's been running for the past 50 years. It seems like, but. I've just never been one of those individuals who follows the family like that. The only time I had a slight interest was with the whole thing with Rob Kardashian and Black China. And the only reason I watched that shit because I was just being petty and I want to see what the fuck happened. But now since nothing really came out of that, I don't even watch that shit anymore. So I was just there for the the dramatics and the pettiness, but nothing happened, so I don't even watch that shit anymore. So, and I watched maybe 5 episodes, got bored with it, kept and changed the channel just like I did. Wasn't able to swipe that time. I just changed it. Click on to another TV show. But you're right. A lot of girls follow her. I don't see how or why or what's the whole point, because I feel like a lot of these girls are completely talentless. But the whole family is talentless in my opinion, including Kim Kardashian.
Well, obviously they're not talentless because if they were first of all, I don't like any of them either. But if they were talentless, they wouldn't have billions of dollars. So they are not talentless. Obviously, they've got something which is making money for doing nothing. That's their talent. There you go.
I guess so.
That's a talent. Hey, I mean, it's a talent. A lot of trophy wives have it. A lot of women who are married to rich men who don't do shit but just look good all the time and get paid for it.
Like the ones in Highland Park?
Exactly. Yeah. Half of those they're Kim Kardashians, basically. Yeah.
The ones that drive, that one that I see driving down Preston Road in their Range Rovers, sipping on their lattes, getting their car washed by some Mexican.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
They go to the expensive ass car wash up there on the corner of Preston and Mockingbird. And they go and get them fucking car washes, and it's probably like $50, and they're sitting there.
It's not Preston and Mockingbird. It's Hillcrest.
Whatever the fucking
Hillcrest
intersection is, I don't know.
It's in Hillcrest.
But and they go over there and watch, the entire car wash that is predominantly Mexicans that work there. Watch them wash their $80,000 truck. Yes, while they're sipping on their lattes and judging. Yes, that's what they do.
But do you think that that's what, the thing is, though, that's one thing I want to say. I mean, people who are wealthy, I mean, whether they're, first of all, you don't know if those women used to be poor, coming from middle of dirt poor Mississippi, and they worked their way up by sucking cock or whatever. I mean, that's a talent. I mean, they had to do something to get there. So they got there, however.
It may be out of everyone that lives in Highland Park, there may be a tenth of that community that maybe organically turn their lives around, went to school, did whatever, and are maybe humble by it.
Right.
The rest of them hoes married to athletes, business owners, doctors, lawyers, and they're just, a trophy wife. If that's what you want to live your life as a trophy wife, and that what makes you happy, I mean, go ahead. I would. Well, I know I can't say I would never do that, but because I guess if the money's right, I'll do that shit too. But I wouldn't do it for if you're a millionaire, then maybe we can talk. But if you're just making $200,000-$300,000 a year, no, I can't do that. Now you can always write me a check.
Yeah,
I'll take that. You know what? Speaking of that, I think I need a good sugar daddy.
Oh, really?
I do.
You want
an
older one?
I'll take
old or young, doesn't matter.
The way things are looking right now, I'll take any age.
Why don't you go find somebody? Go on a dating site or something like Match or whatever, Match.com or.
I've done Match.com. I've gotten a few results, but a lot of the results are like out of state.
So that's what you limit yourself. You never know when you're gonna meet somebody.
No, I'm okay with that, but then
you're saying it's hard that way. Yeah,
it's difficult that way because I mean I just can't. I have a job. I just can't, just be like, oh, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off. See you guys in 2 weeks. Bye. I can't do that. So, I mean, my job requires a little bit of notice. My job takes a little bit of, preparing because I have to send out of office messages. Oh, I'm going to be out of the office from so-and-so to so-and-so. If you need immediate assistance, contact this person. Right. Yeah, I just can't be like, oh, I'm out for 2 weeks. I'm out of here. See you later. No, that doesn't work. But I need a sugar daddy.
Well, I'm sure you could find one.
I know I just talked major shit about these women in Highland Park, and I turn right around and say I need a sugar daddy.
Hypocrite.
So,
you can easily find one of those as long as you're willing to sleep with them, and they're probably not going to be very attractive, and you'll be fine.
No, you have some attractive sugar daddies.
Oh, you want an attractive one then?
No, I said there are some attractive sugar daddies. I didn't necessarily.
Well, it depends on how picky you are. That's what I'm saying. I mean, are you picky? You care what they look like, or you don't care what they look like?
That's up for discussion.
Okay. Well, I'm sure. Aren't there sites you can find that? I'm sure there are sites like that for gay guys somewhere.
There is one called SugarDaddy.com.
Well, there you go. What are you waiting for? Get at it.
I don't. That didn't work out so well for me.
Okay.
So yeah, that one didn't work out so well. They didn't approve my profile, so hey, I don't know.
They didn't approve your profile.
Maybe I appear too poor for them. I don't know.
They didn't approve your profile.
Yeah.
You have to be approved to be on the site?
Yeah, you have to be approved before they can just put you on there. You have to be reviewed and approved. They didn't approve mine. Maybe I just appeared as a poor black boy. I don't know.
They probably, and this is nothing against you, but I'm telling you, because the way gay people, is it a gay site?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way gay guys are, especially in a site like that site's all very shallow and superficial. It's only about one thing. It's about how you look and what you can bring to the table and that kind of stuff. So you gotta have the perfect body, perfect hair, perfect face, perfect clothes, perfect, you know what I mean? Perfect, everything. Perfect car, perfect jaw. Everything has to be perfect for them to even probably accept you to be on there. You know, most people I know would never be on that site either because they'd never get accepted either. Because nobody, unless you're, and the thing is, most people who are like that perfect, don't want to be on that site. They don't need to be on that site because they get that shit anyway.
And if they are, they're complete assholes.
Well, that's usually the case. Yes, usually that's the case. Because usually when you're really that good looking, that gorgeous, you typically don't have a good personality. Not always, but a lot of times. But anyway. All right. Well, anyway, so we talked about a lot of things tonight. By the way, in case you listened to the show last week, we had some technical difficulties. I don't know if you did or not, but yeah. So just FYI, Christian is no longer with the show. We explained why not last week, but we will be back.
I want to explain.
Explain what?
Can you hear me?
Kind of. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Okay, there's a huge delay going on.
You sound really weird right now. I think it's best we just end the show because I can barely understand you.
Oh God.
Now talk. I can hear you kind of now. What were you gonna say? Hello?
There's a huge delay going on.
I don't know why, but anyway. Okay, so we'll be back next week, everybody, on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to offlimitsshow.com. You can also go to Twitter. You can also find me on iHeartRadio, Off Limits Show, as well as on Facebook. So be sure to like my pages and follow me on those, please, if you could. And also, Jason, you can find him on Twitter at
Jason be like. It's Jason_BE_like.
Yes. And so be sure to tweet us and let us know if you want to know anything or questions or whatever. We're happy to answer them for you. And we will see you all next week here on the GayXYZ show. And stay gay. Bye, everybody.